Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. I'd say happy Monday, but it's Monday. Monday's never happy. How you doing out there? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Maybe if you were lucky, you got distracted, whether it was the Masters, right? Or maybe, I don't know, baseball, basketball playoffs getting ready to start in the NBA. Nah. See, that stuff just doesn't do it. It's not football. Doesn't seem like it does it. Apparently, the war is back on. So, there was no deal reached at the big meeting in Pakistan, and now we've got a new tactic, which is probably something, I'll say this, should have been maybe a tactic all along. I don't know, it's hard to say. But now we're going with a blockade, okay? So what's the difference right now? So right now, Israel's still bombing Lebanon. Okay, that's still happening. Nobody has bombed, Israel and the United States have not bombed Iran, and Iran has not bombed anybody else. Okay, so now that could change in a second. But what is happening now is any ship leaving Iran, the United States says as soon as they get out of the straits, we're essentially, I don't know how it works on the sea, but we're going to pull it over, right? You got to get the lights going, and we're going to pull these vessels over, and we're going to take them. And, of course, almost all the vessels going through the strait have been, it's Iranian oil, right? Maybe a cargo ship here or there. But any Iranian, any ship that left any port from Iran, we're going to pull them over and take the ship. That is the strategy. Now, the Iranians have said, if you pull over any of our ships, we're going to start blowing up all the ports in the Middle East. So that's the threat, right? So that's where we are right now. Now, we set a deadline, and I love you. Okay, well, it's going to start at this time. So very smartly, the Iranians got 3 ships out. They beat the shot clock. So apparently, those 3 ships are going to be allowed to go. Nothing else has happened. No ships have gone in or out of the Strait of Hormuz. Now, we said over the weekend that we sent a couple of battleships through there. The Iranians say we didn't. I don't know. Did we? Didn't we? Who knows? But right now, that's where things sit. And the president said, hey, we're going to have all these countries join us. Well, apparently they all said no. The UK, this Starmer guy, he says he's sick of Trump, and we're not supporting it. We're not getting dragged in. Spain said no. Well, the French, did we really think the French were going to? I mean, I will say this. Pulling over an oil tanker, they're not going to launch a missile at you to pull it. The oil tanker isn't anyway. But now the French, they're not in. And Germany says, I love the German statement. This may be the best one. We have not weighed in strongly one way or the other. So there you go. So apparently we'll do this. We've been doing the whole thing by ourselves. Anyway, so that's where things sit. It's going to be interesting because the Chinese are going to want their oil. Now, this morning, there was also news over the weekend that China may have been giving arms to Iran, or they're about to give arms to Iran. So you got to decide which one, right? Maybe both, maybe none. This morning, the president has reiterated that he will put a 50% tariff on the Chinese if, in fact, they are sending shipments of weapons to the Iranians. I hear news reports about China giving them shoulder missiles, what's called the shoulder missile anti-aircraft missiles. I doubt they would do that, but if we catch them doing that, they're going to get a 50% tariff, and that's a staggering amount. So who knows? Maybe the tariffs are going to be back. But right now, Jason, everyone's just waiting to see, are we going to pull anybody over? No ships are going through the Strait of Hormuz. And if we do enforce the blockade, are the Iranians going to follow through and start hitting all the ports in the Middle East?
Of course they will. I mean,
right.
They are the side that's been doing what they said they're going to do pretty much every time. If you look at the history.
You know what? That is true. They have been very consistent, haven't they?
Because they're telling the truth more. Let's just see what happens. It seems like we're back at Venezuela after all this. We got the blockade going, and we're going to stop oil shipments. Wasn't that the Venezuela thing? I guess the war was supposed to stop the oil to China without dollars, but maybe China will get the oil as long as they pay for it in dollars.
800-951-0592. Let's take a quick look at the markets. We've got breaking news, so hang on. But real quick, the Dow's down 250, not bad. The S&P went positive, barely, and the Nasdaq's up 80. The 10-year note 433. Again, I'd say that's not bad. Crude oil is now only up $6, and I'll get to the breaking news in a minute. But just under $103. Now, they did put the June contract up on. And again, I think this is trying to get people to, hey, don't panic here. The June NYMEX crude is up $5, but it's only at $95. So everyone's fingering, how long is this going to last? Right? That's kind of what nobody knows. Right now, Brent crude over $100 as well. Unleaded gas, you probably don't want to hear it, but it's up another 15 cents. Gold's kind of at the low right now. I was just going to say gold has been really strong today. Normally, gosh, just go back 2 weeks ago. Go back a month ago. I'm sitting there telling you, oil so far has been up as much as $8. Gold, remember when this thing was first started, right? Gold would go crashing down, down $100, $200. Right now it's down 30. And like I said, it's kind of at the lows here, still above $4,710. Silver, same thing. Right? Silver, I was expecting silver to be down $4 or $5 today. Right now, down $1.90, just below $74. So what changed in the last little bit? Well, the president was talking about anybody coming anywhere close to the blockade will be immediately eliminated. But what happened was, according to the New York Post, Iranian officials, I don't know which officials they are, one of the big sticking points in the thing was Iran does not want to give up its uranium enrichment program, right? That's one of the things that we are requiring. Well, they're saying that apparently some officials are studying abandoning the uranium enrichment program, and Iranian officials are studying it as a condition for ending the war. But then on the opposite side, Israeli TV said that the gaps in the meeting, the almost 24-hour straight meeting in Pakistan, were enormous. So I don't know. It kind of feels like maybe this New York Post thing is losing a little bit of steam because oil was down to only up a couple of dollars. Now it's going back the other way. But maybe they were studying something, Jason. I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah, and let's see how the blockade, I guess, just started, like essentially about when the show started.
So nobody, no challenge yet. We haven't, like, I don't know. Is it going to be like a Santa Claus tracker, right? Where they're going to be, oh my gosh, here's the ship, right? It's getting closer and closer to the blockade. We don't know. Listen, this week we do have, it's earnings week this week. By the way, Goldman started it off. It was okay. Goldman was okay, but they were expecting it to be spectacular. It came in okay. We're going to get BlackRock, JP Morgan, Citigroup tomorrow, B of A, Morgan Stanley on Wednesday, one of the Mag 7s, Netflix Thursday. We also have PPI coming out. That one is going to be a March number. That's going to be tomorrow as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the producers are saying. We did get, and this was a rough one, we did get existing home sales today. And listen, home sales have stunk ever since they essentially flooded the market. First it started, let's face it, where did it start? Well, they let Wall Street buy all the foreclosed homes after the financial crisis. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them. And they just let Wall Street buy them all. I mean, home prices could have stayed cheap for a really long time. Wall Street bought them all, turned them into rentals. Then they decided, well, let's just get rid of any economic sense, bring interest rates down. I mean, for a brief moment, you can get 3% on a 30-year mortgage. Prices have, tripled, quadrupled? I don't even know. It's something idiotic. Well, existing homes sales had the second biggest drop ever, going back to November of 2022, and is that when they started raising rates? Probably, right? That's probably when they started raising rates. They now are below an annual rate of 4 million homes. We are under 4 million homes, and at least in recent memory, let's say, last 40 years, there's only two times that it was lower. Once barely lower just a little bit ago, and then Lehman Brothers. So we're almost at the low since Lehman Brothers went under. Somehow the sale price still up another 1.4%, $409,000. Inventory of previous homes higher. The sales in the Northeast slid to the lowest on record going back to 1999. Apparently, that's when they're going back to now. So slashed its existing home sales. The National Association of Realtors, they were hoping for a 14% rise in home sales. They're now saying, well, we'll hope for 4%. Jason, I think we'd be lucky if it isn't only negative 4%. But not great data today for homes. And anyone that needs to sell a home, right, you're probably trying to figure out how to do it, because unless you need to buy a home or need to sell a home, it doesn't look like really anybody wants to buy or sell. It's almost like the job market, right? No hires, no fires. Kind of the same thing with the home market right now. Nobody's buying, nobody's selling.
Yeah, but people are just, they're tapped out, aren't they, Joe? I've never, since I've been doing this on the air with you for 8 years, I've not seen quite the, waiting for something to happen, because we saw this before COVID. People were running out of money. Things were tough. Things were tight. Then here came the big COVID nightmare, and then all the printing, and people felt good for a little while. They were buying used cars and buying NFTs. Remember all that stuff?
Right, yeah. Right.
And the inflation came roaring in, but people felt like they had more money for a little while, and it only lasted a couple of years, Joe. And here we are. It seems like people are just like on the edge, right? It seems like, as you're saying, the home sales, who's going to buy a house, right?
Well, I just don't like it when anything compared to, okay, hey, this is something we saw before the financial crisis.
Yep.
Right? Those are the things.
Because that's what it feels like.
Get me,
yeah,
kind of gets me nervous, right? Because it's different, but yet the same, right? It feels just like that, right? It feels like everybody has less money. And I know everybody, that's a big term, but most people seems like they have less money. And this whole war thing is only going to, I don't know how it makes anything better. I know this aluminum, I don't know what's going to happen with this. The aluminum market has absolutely lost its mind. I mean, we have record backwardization. We have backwardization in the oil markets. We have backwardization in the helium markets. We have backwardization in the aluminum markets, and the list goes on and on and on. Diesel, jet fuel, gasoline. And what does that mean? That means you got to pay a lot more today than you do 3 months from now, 6 months from now. But the problem is those prices are elevated, and the war keeps seemingly lasting longer. Remember, when the president first started this, it was only going to last a couple weeks.
Yeah, I heard Trump admit to higher gas prices by the midterms. He didn't want to admit it.
Oh,
so
did he?
He was on a Fox show. I forget the woman's name. She's one of the few holdouts that are not criticizing as much. But she asked a few questions about the blockade that's getting ready to happen. And she asked about prices. And Trump didn't outright say gas prices will be higher by the midterms versus now. But you know Trump, how confident he is when he'll lie or he'll make a mistruth or whatever and say it confidently. He was not confident in answering the questions about prices of oil, and said, well, they just might be higher for the midterms. And it's like, oh, well, just the fact that he's admitting it means he's probably getting a whole lot of people in the room telling him that's what's going to happen. And if he's not going to, shake his fist and say we're going to have the oil prices down, whether they're going to be down or not, if he's actually can't even answer the question straight, we're looking at higher oil prices, Joe. We're looking at higher gas prices by the midterms. That's when summers will wound down,
Yeah, and this puts a lot of pressure on the U.S. Treasury market. Last week, as an example, just $640 billion in a week. That's insane. $620 billion of debt in a single week. How did we do it? Well, of the $620 billion, $480 billion of it was sold between 4 to 52 weeks. In other words, it's got to roll over every 4 weeks, roll over every year. It is staggering the amount of debt that they just keep rolling over short term because they can't get people to buy it long term. The 10-year note yield last week was 4.31. It's already up 4.33. The 30-year, they had a 30-year auction last week, 4.91. And now the problem is the shorter duration bonds aren't looking so good. Look at the 4-week bond. We sold $81,356,000,000. Well, we just had an inflation number last week that said, 3.3. We're going to get PPI tomorrow that may be even closer to 4%. And now, Jason, people are starting like, man, by the way, the $480 billion wasn't even 52 weeks. We had to do it in 6 months or less. We didn't even do 52 weeks. Between 4 and 26 weeks. And now they're saying those yields may be rising significantly.
Sir, yes, ma'am.
800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on this Monday. The big sale today, $5 Indians. You know what? I said, I want to sell my favorite coin. This is, for me anyway, without a doubt, the favorite coin the U.S. ever minted. The $5 Indian, the quarter-ounce Indian. It had the Bella Pratt was the designer on it. It was the first time that the United States engraved into the coin. You know, they created these grooves, the infused design, as they called it. And, of course, I guess I don't know if the original COVID, right? I'm sure they had, like, the plague in the 1400s, but, yes, the big flu pandemic of what was it, 1916, something like that, when that came out, and they thought that the germs hid in those cracks. And so it was one of the least minted coins during that time. Matter of fact, the Indians became so unpopular, they even stopped minting the ones that didn't have the infused design. But this one, you know, when you think about our coinage, we had that Liberty series, right? Lady Liberty, the side profile, Lady Liberty's face. As Jason has reminded, you know, it used to be a rule you couldn't put, like, presidents on the money. You didn't do that. You had symbols, right? And this was Lady Liberty, right? Symbolizing what? Liberty and freedom. And there was just a side profile of Lady Liberty's face. And by the way, before we created a central bank, see, people really struggle with the concept that we had banks without a central bank, but we did. We absolutely did. But we became a superpower without it. I know that's shocking. Like, people, oh my gosh, our world would come to an end without a central bank. The United States, without the central bank, they progressed the world more in 100+ years, maybe than ever before. I mean, we went from wooden boats and horses, right, to, hey, we've got ships, right, made out of steel, and we have automobiles, and we can do all kinds of stuff with steel, and it was amazing. Agriculture, right, now the progress we made there, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Medicine, you name it, all without a central bank. But Teddy Roosevelt was like, hey, these coins aren't majestic enough. The designs aren't cool enough. Because we're a power. We need something that just, when you see it, you're like, yeah, wow, look at that. Power, man. And they had the Saint, right, the full-bodied Lady Liberty, right? That's the same design that's on the Silver Eagle today. And then for the fractionals, instead of having them be saints, like they did with the Liberties, They created the Indians. Awesome. You know, the $10 one had the Lady Liberty with the Indian headdress on. I mean, okay, different, but that $5 Indian, man, it had that male Indian on it with his headdress on, that accused design. I mean, it was, yeah, what a difference when you're thinking about the appearance of a coin like that. But I don't have a ton of them, but I got 50 $5 Indians, and they're going to be, and really it's all about price here, $1,245. $1,245 on these $5 Indians. 4 of those would be $20 less than a $20 gold piece today. So kind of interesting, this little, I guess, the Iran war. Jason, it's given the opportunity for us to sell quarter ounce, just under quarter ounce gold pieces for less than a 20, selling $5 liberties essentially for less than a 20. And it just doesn't, it's so rare. I mean, I've been doing this over pretty soon it's going to be 25 years. This doesn't happen very often. I mean, we'll go 10, 15 years without it happening. And here we are in the last couple of weeks, we've been able to do it a couple of times.
Yeah, and with the price, the amount of dollars you need to buy a quarter ounce gold coin being as high as it is, most people, a lot of people are being priced out of the 1 ounce gold coins anyway. So this gets people that have that secondary budget. Hey, I can get one of these. I don't have $5,000 for a gold coin, but I have the money necessary to buy one of these. Joe.
Yeah, exactly. So they're $1,245 at 800-951-0592. I'll get them up online as well, so you guys can get them online, and we'll keep watching here. It's been a really good kind of a performance here for gold. And it's funny because people were like, why is gold going down? And of course, we were telling you about the liquidity and all of those things, and now we're seeing this really start to subside, aren't we, Jason? As far as when we're sitting here looking at gold today, as an example, down $34. When crude oil's up $6.50 versus it being down, $134.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And we'll keep our eyes on it. Let's see where geopolitics will go in the next weeks or months to come, because oil will stabilize at whatever price it needs to stabilize at, and then watch out, gold and silver is going to take off. And so you'd be lucky. I use that term occasionally over the years, the good old days, a price point where gold and silver kind of just stop, kind of hang out for a while. And it looks like we got one of those going on right now. You got $4,500 to $5,000 gold. You got silver in the $70 range. And we know where it was just before this little war kind of got started, right? We know where it was headed, and it was over $100 for silver. So it's a good time to buy, Joe. Really good time to buy.
Yeah, gold under 5,000, silver under $100. Those are good times for sure. We'll be back right after the break. We're back here. Apparently, we're going to be enforcing this blockade, not just in Hormuz, but the Gulf of Oman, the Arabian Sea. So any Iranian port, whether it goes through the strait or not, people now reiterating that the gap was pretty large in Pakistan, that they really weren't close, and maybe that New York Post time are not to be believed. Remember, they were talks that they were real close, and kind of the latest here now, Iran kind of, I guess, reaching out to the American public and saying, hey, you guys better rein in the president there, or you'll be talking very nostalgically about $4 and $5 gas. So implying that, kind of like we're saying with gold, hey, it's under $5,000, buy all you can, or Rand saying you're gonna real soon look back at $4 and $5 gas and wish it was only $4 or $5. So the war words continues for sure, Jason.
Well, all we can do is wait and see. It's just, we're in this whatever this is, this stage that we're in, and it's hard to tell exactly what's going on, and something will happen. We'll get something. We'll get some sort of situation, and then we'll know. Hey, okay, there's going to be whatever the new normal, or whatever they want to call it. Or there's going to be, hey, guess what? This is going to be severe, and this is going to be something that people aren't going to like to see. Prices are going to go up crazy when big, important things start getting blown up.
Yeah, think about what we talked about with the debt. This will be a big problem because right now, the cheapest debt we can sell is 4 to 26 weeks. We've got 4-week debt, 8-week debt, 12-week debt, 26-week debt. And we're selling, almost $500 billion in a week. And the worry is, if this really happens, so let's just go with later today or tomorrow, we capture, I don't know what the word is, pulled over, took, whatever, these ships. And China doesn't get its oil. I don't know what that's going to mean for the Chinese. But I do know what it will mean for pricing. And now, let's say Iran does what it says, because they've been pretty consistent. But if you're going to do this is what we're going to. They start hitting these ports in the Middle East. What are we talking about? Already today, if you didn't buy your oil months ago, you're paying $150 a barrel. Are they going to be paying $200 a barrel? Are we going to pay $5, $6, $7, $8? I don't know. And again, how long does it last? Because this would be a game that who goes broke first, right? The thought is, we'll just cripple Iran. They can't get any money, right? They can't sell the oil. They'll run out of money. And I guess the people will revolt and throw them out. Or they'll give in and cry uncle and give us the uranium.
It sure seems like with the blockade that Israel seems to not want the oil to get out more than Iran. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Well,
I think Iran figured it out. Hey, wait a minute. These guys want to inflate everything. If we don't get oil through here, we're going to help them, give them what they want. So I think that's why Iran came up with the whole, we'll tax you and we'll get the important ships through, pay the bridge troll. And so oil started getting through. And then I guess, all I could think of is like, wait a minute. This wasn't supposed to happen yet. We need to bottleneck all this oil. Let's put up a blockade.
The United States did say any country not named Iran that pays the toll to get through the strait will also be boarded or captured. Or so essentially the United States is pretty much saying Europe and Asia, you're not getting oil out of the Middle East.
Yeah, and if I didn't feel like that a lot of this is fraudulently being portrayed to the citizens, you would have to think that this is World War III kind of stuff. If you tell
the Dow's down 200 points, right? 260. It's kind of right.
If you tell India and China and other countries that they can't have oil once they've brokered a deal with an independent nation, this is where you have to choose sides and start fighting with more than just Iran. But I don't think that's what's going on here. Once again, I think it's a business deal.
Remember, one of the things, Pearl Harbor, we did that to the Japanese.
Right.
We cut off the oil to the Japanese.
But that's because a war was wanted, though. I'm not sure that there's a war wanted here. If there is, this is a great way to get more countries wanting to be involved. And, those European nations, the whole standing on the sidelines, that whole thing is just, well, wait a minute, maybe the China, Iran, Russia thing, they might end up winning this thing.
What if China sends their Navy down? Are we?
I can't ever see that where that would happen. If China starts to send warships into the area, then yeah, you're looking at something very, very serious. China has not been involved in a war since World War II, so I don't see it happening.
Yeah, they've been pretty quiet. So
their economy's not doing good, by the way. They have a lot of crappy things going on in China that nobody is supposed to talk about.
Whose economy is right though, right?
Well, there are some economies that are a little better off. They're not.
Yeah, you're right.
Their debt to GDP isn't falling off a cliff, right?
It's Radio News Hour. We'll be back. Final segment. 800-951-0592. $5 Indians. Big sale today. $1,245. 4 5s less than a 20. 2 5s way less than a 10. Again, 800-951-0592. OPEC saying that oil production collapsing because of the war here. Iraq, the biggest hit, going from 4.2 million barrels a day to 1.6, 61% decline. Kuwait, 53% decline. UAE, 44% decline. Saudi Arabia, 23% decline. So overall, they're saying that oil production from the Middle East fell from 28.7 million barrels a day to 20.8 million barrels a day. So essentially 8 million barrels a day less every single day. And, of course, now today, that number is going to be even lower now with the blockade, Jason.
Let's just let's keep watching. Let's keep watching and see what will happen. It's our favorite TV show when it comes to economic news. I mean, people are getting hurt.
You just can't stop watching, right?
Well, it affects everything. Everybody has to sit there and make financial decisions based off what cornball crap is coming out of the White House and what Iran says they're going to blow up and destroy, and what the next move is. It's like we all became really interested chess watchers. You got those chess championships. You get the whole audience like it's a football game. Well, when it comes to economics, it's not super exciting, but all the moves on the chessboard have an impact on people's bottom line, right, Joe? So here we are watching it and trying to see if gold's going to be $20,000 in a couple of years or if it's just going to be $10,000 in a couple of years, right?
That's probably right. It's one of those two. By the way, Congress comes back this week. Yeah, I know you're excited about that. One of the things they want a clean extension. Yeah, here we go again. Including Donald Trump, who was against Section 702 of the FISA legislation. All of a sudden, he's not anymore, right? That just allows them to spy on us.
Yep.
That Department of Homeland Security, getting that funded, and then working on the 1.5, what is it, $1.5 trillion Pentagon budget that the Trump administration's asking for, and then also, again, funding all of the current Iran war. So look for deficits to really explode here in the second half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, to what levels?
Could you imagine the interest going? Listen, just the interest rate going up 1%. That adds like another $250 billion to the total.
The Fed will handle that. They'll make sure it's nice and low for them. They'll just pile on those higher interest rates for everybody else. You'll get your 10% mortgage while they have 0% lending.
800-951